plugged us into this new community, like a new world that we had never heard of before. And the first thing we did when we started writing 3 years ago was we started a blog. We wanted to write a blog. We said, we need to start a blog. So we did. And I had never even heard of a blog at this point. I'm like, what's a blog? So we started this blog, and then we were plugged in, and we started meeting people, other authors who were in our same position, and they wanted to get books published, and they didn't have agents, and blah, 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 just like us. So then this whole world opened up of like people who were wanting to be your friend and wanted the same things that we did, and were getting agents, and they were signing with agents, and that's what you want.
Selling their books.
Yeah, selling their books, getting published, and it was just, I think that, so day to day now, it's like we have these friends that we never thought we would have had before, and if you care about them, we actually got to meet one of our close friends, drove up and surprised us at the signing last weekend. So it was so cool. It's just it's so
on a day-to-day basis, we're spending time, writing our blog, responding to emails that we get from readers and these friends that we've met. And, on Twitter, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Twitter at all, but we're on Twitter updating what's going on throughout our day and kind of just networking. And then at night, as soon as 7 o'clock hits and everybody's in bed, our kids are in bed, we're writing and staying up late.
I don't watch TV anymore now.
We read a ton of books. We read a lot of books and review a lot of books as well, so it's changed. About that, because our agent, when she originally signed us, she said, when we go out of submission, I'm going to put you out of submission under a pen name, because she thought that editors would read our manuscripts with kind of looking for flaws, more critical, because they knew 2 people had written it. And then she met us in person in New York, and she said, no, let's put it out under both of your names. I think she met us as a story there. Yeah, the story that we're sisters, and that whole, they could kind of play that angle. I like personally, we like writing as a team. I think it's brought us closer together as sisters. We're really good friends, and it's just made everything more fun. Like coming here by myself, I would be terrified. But like coming here with Laura makes it a lot easier. And like we were saying before, if you get stuck, you can just say, "Here, go blog." Yeah, good luck. I don't want to do it. It's a hot mess. So you can kind of depend on somebody else as opposed to having just to depend on you.
When we first started writing, we set out to write fun books, entertaining books. We didn't want to do anything too heavy. We wanted to write something that people, we wanted to write books that we would want to read. And when we were your age, we loved, mysteries and Christopher Pike and, just like entertaining, quick, fun reads. And that's kind of what we set out to do. Yeah. So we definitely wanted to combine humor, and then in this book there's there's some sadness, and so there's some serious parts, but then there's parts that hopefully will make you laugh out loud, and we wanted to try to combine all those different things together, which I think was kind of a challenge. It took a lot of different revisions to get it right. We had to go through one revision thinking, okay, emotional things, we need to add more emotion, and then another revision adding detail, so we kind of layer it that way. And our agent always tells us that what sold her, I think, on our writing was the fact that we could be funny. She said there's not a lot of people that can be genuinely funny in books, and she thinks that we do that well. And that's it. And now that we're working on other projects outside of Liar Society that focus on that, play up your humor, it comes naturally to you guys. One of our friends that have read the book, they say it's like having a conversation with us because it sounds like us.
Plugging in details from just our own personal lives. There's one character in the book, Taylor, and she's a really big, she's kind of like OCD a little bit, and everything has to be just so, and we know a person like that, so we kind of drew from her. And then we have Beef Me, a character, Bethany, she's mean and she's nasty and she's kind of beautiful, and she's Khloe Kardashian. So we kind of get, a lot of times we'll create these characters and we almost have to figure out who they look like, and we use celebrities a lot. We do that to kind of match people up with the way that we think that they look. It's easier to describe them if you have, if we have a joint.
That's another challenge I think of us writing together, is that we have to have a joint vision for how the characters look and feel and act and all that.
Author, for me, I think right now, I love Sarah Desmond. We read a ton of young adults, too, by the way. I don't really read a ton of adult. We read adult books for my neighborhood thing, but adult author, and then if I was going to do adult author, I'd say Pat Conroy. I love Pat Conroy.
I love Stephen King, and I love Stephen. I read Stephen King when I was your age. They didn't have young adult books like this one. I mean, not as many. And I love to read, so I would go through books so quickly that I started reading Stephen King really young, and I've always loved him.
Yeah, we've had to streamline. Like, sometimes you'll have way too many characters and people get confused. So we've had to cut a few from
combined characters. Sometimes if you have two similar characters, you can kind of make up one really good character together.
Right.
So to become one character.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes it's confusing. It's all about keeping it. You have to, when you introduce characters, they have to be very memorable right away.
And they have a purpose.
And have a purpose. So sometimes we've cut characters a lot.
Yeah, they call it like killing your darling.
Yes.
And
a lot of darling.
Yeah, it's hard because and sometimes you can't let them go. So we'll pull. If I cut, I'll pull specific lines out and put them in a document that I want to save for later. And we somehow try to like really work it back in there. Like that one, the Black Plague line, we got that back in. Our editor cut it, and we can kind of manipulate it. We got that line in. I liked it. But our editor, when we went back into the pink hair, they said, you better not read this. Because they were afraid. Because we did so many edits. When we did copy edits with them, we had all these changes that, we wanted to read a certain way. And they accept or reject those changes. They don't have to take everything we say into consideration. Right. And so there was one line that they cut, and I couldn't even tell her.
I made her promise never to read the book again. I'm like, okay, we did this last round of edits. Let's just agree right here, right now, that we never read it again, because it'll just kill me to know that they didn't change something I wanted to change. It'll drive me crazy.
And we're at that point now. We have the second book in the Liar Society series, but our agent wants to write a totally separate series so that she can sell to another publisher, and then we can have two things kind of going. And, you have to come up with the perfect idea for her to be able to sell it.
And she's told us that it has to be an idea that would make Hollywood stand up and take notice. And so it has to be a big, which is a lot of pressure. I mean, she wants it to be a big idea, and she's shot down. I mean, we've written the first 5 chapters of about, 10 different books, and she said, no, that's not right. It's not right for this reason. This is too serious. This is too light. This is not going to appeal to the right age group. This is too old, too young. And the industry is so competitive that it literally has to be an idea that just blows her out of the water, that she can then take to editors that will blow them out of the water, and then hopefully we get somewhere with it. But yeah, we've lost a lot of ideas.
I used to teach 6th grade language arts, but then I had my daughter, and so I stay at home with her now. And Lisa,
I used to be in marketing, so I had a job for a while, and then,
well, I will say it's come in very handy.
Yeah, it is. I've done a lot of the marketing for the book. It actually has worked really, really well. But yeah, we have our kids at home, so we've technically two have two jobs. Right.
The editor that we will look at the overall picture of our book and characters and give us a focus with characters and plot and, these things need to change, but they don't necessarily tell you how. I mean, that's your job. And then line editors will go through each line, and they're supposed to catch grammar and
copy editors,
right,
catch grammar as well. And I think a lot of it too is sometimes, I know that I'm sure we have grammatical issues in our book where it just sounds better a certain way.
Or it's part of your voice.
It's part of the voice. So sometimes there's a little bit of creative license taken in.
Correct.
Better.
One of the ones that makes us laugh is there's a part in the book where Seth, one of our favorite characters, gets scared, and he's like, and there's a line that says poop my pants. And our editor,
he's so scared he pooped his pants. I pooped my pants.
Pooped my pants, or something like that. And the editor wanted to say pooped in my pants.
So we're like, no, it's funny. No, pooped in my pants, and I pooped my pants. Right. So we fought that line. Drew our line in the sand. You're not changing pooped my pants. We have friends that have sold Hollywood, their rights to producers in Hollywood, and it's actually interesting. They have no control whatsoever. It is. It's very similar. You sell the idea,
Like a
and
cover,
they
yeah.
take it, and they do whatever the heck they want with it. So, it's interesting. I mean, I'm sure if you were like Stephen King, you would probably negotiate for certain things, but if you're somebody that's like slow and simple, yeah, like she was able to be because she's a huge multi-million-dollar best-selling author. But by and large, like the typical movies that you see being made from books to movies, the writer has very little control. And sometimes they see for the first time, like what everyone else does, they're kind of like, what did you do to my book? You know, it's a very strange fit.
And some writers will pass up opportunities, from producers it wasn't the right vision, and they'll kind of say, no thanks. Because people can buy the rights to your book for a movie, and then they could just sit on it for years and years, and it never become a movie, but they'll own, the rights.
They own the option for like they'll buy like the option for 5 years. So they have 5 years to make movies. If they don't make that movie in 5 years, then your agent can sell it again to somebody else. We were kicking ourselves for thinking a mystery was a good idea.
Mysteries, especially when you're trying to edit a mystery, it's hard to keep track of who we wanted the reader to suspect and when.
And that's what we kind of did. We organized the book by suspect. We say, okay, the first suspect is going to be this person. So all the clues in that section of the book were supposed to lead the reader to believe that it was one person. And so that's kind of how we did like 3
main acts, and then we would outline each of the 3 sections. And then we had to change a lot. But we had this general idea of, we sat down and had a general idea of what we wanted to happen that night. So we had to get that taken care of first, and then we had to go back through and kind of work backwards, I guess, to work through how she got to that point.
And we've edited it so many times that we were able to like go back and weave in little clues at different points when we kind of to like enhance it. So there's a lot of different, the first draft of the book was I think only 55,000 words. So the final was what, 80 something?
Yeah.
It was like almost like 85, I think. So we added a lot. The book came revision
quite a bit. But I think the revisions helped us the most. Is going back through and weaving in.
So we have to keep reminding ourselves of that too as we're writing new books. That you have to start with kind of a skeleton almost, and then just build those layers as you go.
Lucky for me, Liam stopped to talk to a few kids who were hanging out near the entrance of the school. I sprinted as fast as I could and made a big loop around the parking lot so he wouldn't see me. When I found Liam's car, I thought Seth had slung his body over the seat and was digging around in the back. Without thinking, I slammed my fist on the side of the car to get his attention, and Seth fell headfirst into the back, grabbing at his heart. Jeez, Kate, are you trying to give me a heart attack? He yelled. Get out of there now. He stared at me blankly, so I tried speaking a language he'd understand. Code red, code red. He said, Seth dove up into the back seat, clutching a sheet of paper to his skinny chest, and slid out the unzipped plastic window. He shoved the paper at me, which I pushed down my uniform shirt, and we both scrambled to re-zip the window. We were casually leaning against Liam's Jeep when he walked to his car looking more confused than ever. Hi. He looked from me to Seth and back. Seth nodded his head, and I said a quick prayer that he'd let me do the talking. No such luck. Oh, hey there, Liam. Kate was just showing me your sweet set of wheels here. Seth banged on the side of the car. What type of gas mileage does this beauty get? Oh, my God. He sounded like a geriatric car enthusiast. Something dark flashed in Liam's eyes as he looked closely at Seth and me. Was it jealousy or something else? I wasn't going to wait around to find out. Actually, Liam, we were just going. I dragged Seth by the sleeve of his shirt and didn't look back. I'll see you tomorrow.